Hospital porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV and welcome to this, the 50th comments reply video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the half century. The big 50. The comments reply videos is definitely in middle age now. Yes, better start thinking about a pension and all that sort of thing. But yeah, 50 comments reply videos. And also, when you consider the duration of my comments reply videos, which are quite considerable, then you can do the maths and work out exactly how many hours that means of me sitting here replying to your comments. How long would it take you to watch them all end to end, I wonder? So, if you're new to the channel, I'll explain exactly what's going on here. As the title suggests, this is the video in which I reply to your comments. The comments left in the comments boxes under the video, which I always leave open. Now, I feel obliged to reply to people who make comments, because a lot of thought and feeling often goes into these comments. Some of them are long and detailed. Some of them actually address me directly and ask for specific answers from me, and they ask questions about the video. So I feel obliged to reply. However, I don't have time to reply by text. I don't want to sound immodest, but, you know, I have a popular channel. I get a lot of comments. So I make these comments reply videos because it's quicker. That's basically it. And I do them every few weeks, usually about once a month or slightly less than once a month. Now, you might think, well, come on, Ben, I only want to reply to one comment. I'm not going to sit here, wait for so long and then watch a 9-hour video. Well, guess what? You don't have to, for two reasons. Firstly, I used to do comments reply videos about once every 2 months. I now don't do them about once every 3 to 3.5 weeks. So my comments reply videos are no longer 9 hours. They're all considerably shorter than that. They may go into multiple hours, but it's nowhere near 9. Secondly, you don't have to watch the entire video anyway, but even if it's a shorter one, because I have a timestamp, right? What I do is, whenever I'm replying to a comment, I put this as a reply to that comment. Thanks for your comment. It will be answered approximately within, and then I give you a timestamp to the nearest hour of the upcoming reply to comments video. So the longest you'll have to watch the video is an hour, thereabouts, to get the reply to the comment you want. Clear? Oh, good. Another reason I do these comments reply videos is simply because I enjoy them, because I like doing them, and I know you viewers like them too. In fact, I know a lot of you watched them all the way through anyway. Even when they were 9 hours long, you used to watch them all the way through. So let us begin. Oh, and I've got a great one to start us off with. Brilliant. This is the Halloween 2021 live stream, and it follows a comment made by Checkpoint. Checkpoint, did you eat bacon for breakfast by any chance? Have you been near Watford lately? Checkpoint says, has anyone ever told you you sometimes slip into a strong Liverpudlian accent during your videos? People slipping to strong accents are not normally associated with them. Often means they're on the spectrum and are being dishonest. Oh, really? This is forensic psychology expert extraordinaire, is it? Are you the new Peter Hyatt, are you? Are you going to be the Richard D. Hall's prime source for information, and indeed only source for information? Is that what you're going to be then, Checkpoint, is it? Anyway, I said underneath here, I actually made a text reply to this. I don't speak with a Liverpudlian accent anyway. Is that evidence of some kind of accusation? Is that evidence of some kind of accusation? Because if it is, you've got nothing better. I say you have nothing better. And now, this is written out. Then I said, by the way, I rewatched the clip of Marcus at the BIS and will eagerly be responding to you in the next comments reply video. And I am, yes. I told you this is a good one to start us off with. And Checkpoint says, that's the point. You don't speak with a Liverpudlian accent, but occasionally you slip into one for the odd sentence. Again, is that... where? Could you... Citation needed, please. How that is a sign of someone lying or being on the spectrum. Your aggressive response shows, unfortunately, I've hit a sore point with you. Sorry about that. No ill will was intended. Well, if you're the person I think you are, Checkpoint, then ill will is always intended. But I don't even mean by aggressive. I asked you... I said I don't speak with a Liverpudlian accent. I never lived in Liverpool. I mean, is that some kind of accusation? If so, it's obvious you have nothing better. And it is. I mean, if you call that aggressive, I'm just saying that normally you'd have some kind of critique. And if you don't, what I find is that people, especially people like you, who I think you are, will simply slip into an ad hominem attack of some kind, and they'll just make stuff up. It was my teeth last time, wasn't it? Someone said, because I had my mouth shut, they said, oh, Ben's toothless. It's absurd. But anyway, he carries on. There's not a lot to say about the clip of Alan saying on camera he only doubts the Apollo record and not the actual landings. After all, there is he saying it. We know he's talking about the Apollo program because he mentions the orbiter program photographs of the lander sites. Right. Okay, I have now looked into this checkpoint. I have rewatched the video and I can see that, yes, I can't Marcus's exact words. You actually put a link here somewhere. It doesn't really matter, really. But what Marcus essentially does say, yes, he believes that there were. He makes some kind of concession that there was a real Apollo landing, but the photographs were fake, as you said. Now, this is considered to be some kind of great Watergate moment for the skeptics, people like you. And I was looking at the comments underneath the video, saying Marcus Allen is this, Marcus Allen is that. Oh, he's horrible, he's evil, he's nasty, he's disgusting, and things like that. Maybe I'll tell you what, I'll just find the video. Here we are. Marcus Allen. Interplanetary. Here we go. Let's have a look. There's the video. I don't know if I can find the video, actually. No, I can't find the actual video, but it does seem there is some kind of... What happened was Marcus was asked to speak at the British Interplanetary Society. This is a spaceflight organisation in London, which has been championing the Apollo program ever since before it even happened. They're the one who invented Project Daedalus, if you remember my SETI video. Marcus is invited there as a guest, and at one point he does make what I would call a concession. And Checkpoint considers this, as the skeptics all do, like I said, this is like the moment of truth. This is like the Lord, the prince has fallen kind of situation. But and indeed, the comments underneath the video were all extremely loud and extremely vainglorious. There you are. Marcus Allen's been lying all along. Well, I think that's actually inaccurate. You must really make his... I believe that... I know that's not what Marcus actually thinks from talking to him. What I suspect happened was that Marcus said what he did in the situation he was in. You must realise Marcus is a very brave man to go into that particular meeting, to put himself in that situation with those kinds of people. All of them. Imagine sitting in a room where every single person, is hostile to you like that. And I think he possibly was forced up against a wall, and therefore a false concession slipped out. Because Marcus, he's a brave man. He's not a nasty guy, though. He's a nice guy. He's agreeable. He likes to get along. He likes to cooperate. He likes to talk, and he likes to negotiate. He's a good guy. He really is. And this is what I suspect happened. I suspect that Marcus said what he did because he was in that situation. Quite frankly, considering the audience, considering the nature of that particular meeting, I think he did incredibly well. He showed a lot of moral strength not to make more concessions. So I think your claim to exposure of Marcus Allen as a liar here is completely premature, and it's a misrepresentation, and it's an overreaction. Indeed, the comments on the video are also an overreaction. So, Gary Robinson says on reply to comments 49, "Evening, mate. 6:29 here at MX. Pulling a late one and listening while working." What's this? Took part in said operation. That's not a contradiction. The names are still not known, apart from the one mentioned, Robert O'Neill, who broke the code. Oh, right. Gary, this is something to do with the SEAL Team 6 thing and Bin Laden, wasn't it? Oh, right. You're actually saying it's 6:29 p.m. in Mexico, right? You're actually telling me the time. But because of the way YouTube organises comments, whenever you actually put in the time, it thinks you're leaving a timestamp for the video. Oh, it's 6:29 p.m. Well, Gary, thanks for joining me from across the Atlantic. I appreciate that. Hope everything's all right in your town and all the Cubans, sorry, not Cubans, all the Haitians have moved on. Right, Steve071 says on reply to comments 49. Hi, Ben. I'm ready for another reply to comments from you again. Have a good one. Thanks, Steve. You're getting a laugh out, mate. And here is your next one. And Charles said underneath, Ben's a good sport, isn't he? Thanks, Charles. And Steve says, a diamond in the rough. Charles, a sculpture in the rock. Oh, I'm giving out love hearts here. A prince among men. The relish in the hamburger. That's right. Well, Charles, you know, if I am a hamburger with legs, man, I'm a hamburger with legs. At least I've got relish. At least I've got relish, haven't I? The cherry on the cake. The phosphorus in the globe. The tin foil on the hat. Oh, stop it. I'll start blushing. Reply to comments 49. Here we go. Here's the timestamp from Hugo Rune. Even a reefer baby, as I explained, rape, incest, fetal abnormality. Oh, right, yes. It's reefer baby. Reefer, he spelled it reefer. R-E-E-F-E-R. My goodness me, Hugo, you've got cannabis on the brain, mate. I swear, you know, you and Bob Marley were probably twin souls. Reefer. It's R-A-I-F-A. Rape, incest, fetal abnormality. Sorry, I should... Charles says, Austin Powers when he's stoned. Oh my goodness me. We're off to a good start, guys, in this video. We really are. Reefer baby. Oh. I've got a bit of a cough, by the way. I don't think it's the you-know-what. I feel all right, just got a bit of a cough. Reply to comments 49. Gary Robinson says, Ben, you mentioned taking the knee at 28:42 in this video. Right, here we go. Knee involving fines and things like that, such as minor speeding offences or people breaking lockdown rules and things like that. What's this about? This is the last comments reply video. So, anyway, earlier in the year, I parted company with a business partner after a year of working hard to launch a new venture. The guy in question was very famous, and since we had a bit of work history together, I assumed it would work out. Over time, he revealed himself to be ruthlessly left-wing and played the racism card whenever he thought it would benefit our business. I eventually lost my shit when he was lecturing me about taking the knee, and he also accused me of profiting from slavery simply for being white. After that day, we parted company, and I had to park the venture. Right. Oh, right. I know you won't reveal who it is, and that's fair enough, Gary. It's private business. I can guess, probably within 5 or 6 different people, who you're talking about. Unfortunately, there are a large number of people like that in Hollywood and in the music industry, and they annoy me like hell. They really do. And you don't want to be involved with people like that, either personally or professionally. You don't want to be involved with people like that, and so you have to park the venture. You have to part company with these people. Yeah, you've got to. It doesn't matter. I mean, you really. It's not worth making. You know, even if you become very successful, you've got to hang around with this person who just thinks you're evil because of the colour of your skin. Oh God, honestly, as I said to Thomas Barden Rees the other day, we can't let these people win. These wokists. I mean. You can't let them win, because if they win, I mean, what are they going to do? Imagine people like that formed a government. What would happen? Well, history tells us what would happen. Whenever you give people who feel racial hatred political power, what follows is atrocity every time. I can't find an exception anywhere in history. I mean, I could give you an example from history, but you've just thought of one, haven't you? And you just thought of another. It's literally, if these people take power, it'll be firstly it'll be white straight men, then it'll be white men, and then it'll be just all white people. But they'll all end up in the same mass graves eventually. Opposing the wokies, it's not just a moral issue; it's a matter of survival. And these people, it's like that incident in Wisconsin. I said it, I'm not drunk. Wisconsin. Crafty nihilist was waiting for me to slip up on that. Where the guy rammed the parade in a car. I consider the media jointly responsible for that. As I consider the perpetrator and the media jointly responsible, because they're the ones who they are the ones who fill the heads of people like that with their lies. They're the ones who demonize Kyle Rittenhouse. If they go around telling all these horrible things about people, about saying how evil white people are and stuff like that, and how Kyle Rittenhouse is an evil person who got off because of the evil white patriarchy and stuff like that. Eventually, it's going to fall on the ears of someone who's hateful enough or crazy enough, probably a bit of both, to do something like that. Now 5 people are dead. There's blood on the media's hands as far as I'm concerned. Gary carries on here. My point being that I cringe whenever I hear the phrase, take the knee. In the centuries to come, people are going to look back on this period of history and laugh at us, or they're going to be living in a world of 1984, thanks to people taking the first step by taking the knee. Yes, Gary, exactly. I hope it'll be the former. I certainly will do everything I can to make sure it is the former, to make sure we are in a position where we can look back and laugh and think, how were we ever this stupid? Why do we believe this cultural Marxist crap? Why do we believe this hateful nonsense it's been put into people's heads? I know that. Oh, yeah. Gary says underneath here, in the words of Junior Soprano, some people are so far behind in the race, they actually think they are leading. God, that's a good one, isn't it? Oh, that's great. That's actually, isn't it? I mean, everything's back to front. It's his Orwellian doublethink. Everything's full of Orwellian doublethink. Right, so Hugo Rune is here again. Hugo, have you come down from the ceiling yet, mate? I don't think so. Onward, cocaine, white powder. Oh no, he's still as high as a kite. What's this? If I had the money for it, God blimey, if I had the money for it. Right, well, I don't know what the context is, but Hugo says, you said, if I had the money for it, God blimey, if I had the money for it, take it from me, don't. I used to have money for everything else I might desire. I worked globally. I used coke when I was working in the Emirates in the 1980s. Well, fuck my nostrils. Oh, blimey. The only drug I would recommend is cannabis because I do not consider it a drug. It's my medicine. And the bastard police recently confiscated my latest grow. Yeah, I heard about that. You were saying about that, Hugo, and that's awful. You know my position on cannabis. I take the legalise it phrase that Bob Marley does. As for being in the Emirates, I mean, I've heard that the people who live, I know some people who've lived there, and they said it's got a lot of problems in terms of its energy. That it seems very glossy on the surface. You get these big, huge cities like Dubai, and it looks very smart. It looks very swish and impressive, but it has obviously is a fundamentalist Islamic state based on the Sharia. You can't drink alcohol there. I mean, maybe if you could knock back a glass of wine occasionally, you wouldn't have like got onto the old Hermesitas, you know. But yeah, it does. It messes your nostril. It does mess your nose up really badly. Yeah, and you're much better off now just getting on the wacky backy. Yeah, and really, I mean, if it's your medicine, I mean, I don't know how you're getting on with the police on that, Hugo. But I wish you luck with it. I really do. It's the ultimate victimless crime. It really is. It's as Bill Hicks said. You know. Oh. This bud's for you. Oh, that's a nice taxable drug, isn't it? We like that drug. Yeah. Same video, Hugo Rune. Another timestamp. God, no. Ever the libertarian. I don't want my shopping habits, even though I'm shopping for somebody else, not for myself. I don't want my shopping habits stored on a database. Yeah, as Hugo says, onward. You don't have a club card of any description, despite you doing shopping for others. Respect. Though I'm similar, I'm not that deep into it. My sister does shopping. I assume she has a club card, but I don't. You know, Hugo, I actually, the lady I shop for doesn't have a club card. I would use hers if she wanted me to, the lady I do the shopping for. I don't when I'm only reason I don't use it when I'm shopping for others is because she doesn't. However, if I shop for, obviously I don't have a club card myself. If she wanted me to use hers, I would, but only for her shopping, not mine. Funnily enough, somebody actually asked me to use their club card today in the queue. I was at the Tesco Superstore again today getting groceries, and she said, "Oh, will you use this and then get some points on? I can put some points on." I said, "Thank you very much." I didn't understand. I didn't know what the hell she was going on, but I got £3 off my shopping bill, and she got some points. I don't know what it's all about, but you know, it's hard to say. But yeah, I don't want all my everything put on a database. One step from that to the cashless society. I haven't done a video about that yet, or I might have done one years ago. But it's becoming more. It's now becoming more common because of the old C word. Everyone is now going, oh, notes and coins can spread diseases. We need to get rid of this, you know. And of course, once we get into the world of cashless, then forget it. Your financial life is now no longer your own. Gary Robinson says on reply to comments 49, impressed you've seen the movie Local Hero, Benjamin. That is an obscure but great movie. He used my full name, Benjamin. That is my name, actually. Yeah, you can call me that if you like, Gary. It is obscure. I mean, it was famous for a short time. It did quite well at the box office, and it was famous when it came out. I think it was in the early 80s. But it never really did. It really did fade from. It did had its initial fame, but then it did fade a lot, and in home media it hasn't done as well. But it's a few people do discover it. I actually discovered it quite recently. I remember it vaguely. I remember hearing it vaguely when I was a little kid, but I was too young to really enjoy that kind of film. Years later, I heard about it, and it was on TV or something. I watched it, and I thought, wow, that's good. I consider it a great Scottish movie. I really do. The director actually made another quite good sort of warm comedy. It's a coming of age kind of drama called Gregory's Girl, which it's not as good, but it's equally funny, I'd say. It doesn't have the warmth. But Local Hero has a kind of it's often described as being a very warm movie. It has a kind of feel-good kind of happiness about it. Anyway, same video. Charles from Project Camelot. Did you actually say use birth control correctly so there isn't a cock-up? Did I say that? Oh my God. Dark Corners UK, pun intended. Charles, most unlikely. Did I actually say that? Oh God. That is a brilliant one. That is, if I'd said that it was unintentional, but I'll tell you what, that's great. That'd be great graffiti to put on the side of the clinic, wouldn't it? Of the family planning clinic. There isn't a yeah, I might well have said that. Yes. Hugo again, and there's another timestamp. What's this? You'd say something about this. Free will article and comments. 8 minutes onwards, decisions you make. Oh God, your spelling's not very good. How much? Oh, blimey. All right. Yes. I know what this is about. Yeah. Hugo says here. Honestly, I do have mental problems. But hey, I loved all your comments to all my posts. Please show me the spirit, soul, or evidence, heaven, of continued existence after death. Honestly, I remember I was an avid reader as a child of ghost books, and ghost books were a particular favourite, but now I'm an adult. Please keep up the good work. I will do. I will keep up the good work. I'll address this point first, and then you've got another timestamp. But to show you evidence of heaven, continued existence after death. I reckon I know I always do this, all right, but it's so much. I could sit here and I could tell you about this particular field of study, which I have a lot of interest in. I do, and it's sort of come crashing back down on me since Gareth died. Just not long after Ian R. Crane. Gareth, of course, was a much closer personal friend. I could sit here and like go through it all with you, but I've already done videos about this. I know I'm always doing this, referring to you to videos, but I do. And let me just, I'll just find some. I'll make sure I get the right ones. Let's have a look. There's the Afterlife, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. The Discovery film review. And there's probably a couple of others, actually, which I could recommend. The Seance one I went to. What's the hang on? Yeah, another one I could recommend. Hang on. Here we are. Jason Harrington live event. That's where I actually witnessed transfiguration mediumship. So I recommend those particular videos, Hugo, and really everything I could say to you now is in those videos. Okay, another one here. 22525. Another timestamp. Rune again. Cannabis. Yes, I could say much. I toke around 3 grams a day and also have Sativex. I'm having mental problems. The odd fit blackout lasting a minute. The nurses noticed it and... All right, yeah. And Hugo says, onwards, my beer and cannabis usage. Stop out. I can't leave my home. I'm housebound. Yes, you are correct. I'm behaving strangely. I'm having mental problems. Emailed other comment. All right, Hugo, I saw your email. Yeah, I'll discuss things privately with you privately. You really can't get out now. I mean, what about your wheelchair? Can you get out in your wheelchair? If so, then I hope you're getting proper care from the local authorities. I know you like you're not young, and you should be getting. And I know about your disability. You should be getting proper. You should have like a care worker that comes around and looks after you. And I wish you all the best. I do. And as I said, what the police did to you was disgusting. I think, yeah. Right, 2:30:44. Oh, right, here we go. Here's another comment from another timestamp. Edema alleviates as circulation improves. Okay. If on track, possibly even by chance, there is more muscularity control in the eyes and the tissue around the eye. Oh, I don't know what this is about, but anyway, you read a comment about edema. Yeah, edema. Yeah, I suffer badly from that, honestly. Oh, edema is when you get build up of fluid in certain parts of your body, and I know in some situations it can be dangerous. For example, if it's in the lungs, it can kill you. But you suffer badly from edema. I'd love you to come around and witness it and discuss it as a huge problem for me. And the nurses, oh right, you are seeing the nurses. That's good. I'll certainly pay you a visit sometime, Hugo. Yeah, I'd like to at some point. My wound on my right foot started out 2 years ago, about a thumbnail size. It's now the size of my palm. Oh my God. This with district nurses visiting me for the last 2 years, 3 times a week to change the dressing. I'm housebound due to this massive wound. All right, you've answered the question I asked him in my last comment, and I'm sorry about that. Your ex-hospital, come around and film it, preferably on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when the nurses change my dressing. You're welcome to come to stay tonight. We could talk of much, bring camp bed. I'd love to, Hugo. Are you in sheltered accommodation? I'm glad that answers the question I asked before. You are getting care from the district nurses. But that's why you can't go out, because you have this wound on your foot. Is that the edema? And, oh dear. I'm sorry to hear that, Hugo. I really hope it... But if you had it for 2 years, that's a long time. But I do hope you get that sorted. I really do. Right, reply to comments 49. Hugo Room. Sleep paralysis. Thanks, mate. I appreciate your comments. Yeah, sleep paralysis. Now, I don't know if you've ever had that. I think you mentioned something about having it, Hugo. Didn't you say you were... It was when you were in the army in Germany. You said something about having sleep paralysis. It's kind of a... It's quite common. I mean, some people get it more than others. I get it probably, I reckon, every couple of weeks I get it. And it's nothing really I just lie there, and I'm lying there, and I'm like, open my eyes. I can't move anything except my eyes. I'm just literally lying there, and I'm just stuck, and I can move my eyes. And I just look at the room around me for a while. And it's something I'm so used to, I just relax now. I just wait for it to pass over. When it passes over, I wake up. But occasionally I see weird things, as I've explained. I see things in the room that shouldn't be there. And again, that's quite common. And you were saying about Hugo about, I think you said you were in Germany, you were in the army, and you said you had something happen. You bolted with fear, if I remember correctly. And I don't know if you still get sleep paralysis. I wonder, do you ever get any do you ever get any vision? Do you ever see any strange things? Hugo, same video. Hugo, I'll read my speaking German. I visited 34 countries, and in every one, I have tried at least to learn the polite greetings, and honestly, I wish I could repeat them all from memory, but I cannot. As an example, I do remember Japanese. I had a beautiful girlfriend there. She was 8 years older than me, so I was her toy boy. She was a newsreader. Oh, right. On Japanese TV. Konnichiwa Genko Dasuka means that is hello, how are you? Oh, right. Now, having written that, I'll go and Google Translate to check. Wow, my memory's not that bad. Konnichiwa Genki desu ka. Right, oh, it's different words. All right, well, that's a dozen, that's 4, 5, 6 more words of Japanese you can speak than I can. And I'm glad you found a nice lady over in Japan. Did you sort of split up when you had to leave her? I mean, 8 years is not a very big age gap anyway, but you know, it's not that it really bothers me. I've had my relationships have mostly age gaps, so but I've never been to Japan, never been there. I'd like to go. I'd quite like to see the Emirates as well. I'd go for just for a short time. I'm curious to see it because people tell me about the energy of the place, and I'm curious to experience that. Right, same video. Charles from Project Camelot. Relax, Ben. The C. Scott thing, Charles. All right, okay. It's nothing to do with anything on here, and I didn't block him for anything he said to me. He was making disparaging comments about 2 9/11 survivors I know, calling them crackpots and liars. After he sank that for I would have nothing to do with him. To be honest, Ben, he comes across like he's obsessively in love with you and thinks I'm a rival suitor. You're welcome to him, I promise. Now, Charles Scott is... Charles Scott, I actually, as you know, I agree with him on a lot of what he says. And I know there's this fuss about the mathematics. But to be honest, you sound to be more... To me, Project Camelot Charles sounds more reconciliatory and more reasonable than Charles Scott does, despite my agreement with Charles Scott. I just would like Charles to realise that if he has a dispute with somebody, he can't go expecting everyone else to take his side or you're either with me or against me sort of thing. I mean, I've been in this situation so many times because I have people who don't like me, I have people I don't like, and I know I share friends with these people, but others have come up to me and they've said, look, I've fallen out with this person. All my you bifurcate your entire friends list and say, right, either you're with them, or you're with me. You can't be with both. And everyone else is sort of sitting there shaking their head, says, what's this got to do with me? You know what I mean? This is a conversation I had with Deborah Hatswell. I mean, Deborah and I are okay now about this. I think she realised what I'm saying. I'm only saying this publicly because she made public comments about this. But I respect what she does. I actually agree with Deborah, I think, pretty much on a lot of the Bigfoot stuff, to be honest. But Glenn Vaudrey is someone else. He's another guy I like, and I'm going to his conference next year. I'm looking forward to that enormously. I've interviewed him a couple of times, which is what Deborah didn't like. But, it's... I honestly wish I'd like to see Glenn and Deborah sort of make up, because, I mean, what seems to be their problem, from what I can tell, is simply a disagreement about facts. Well, shock horror. Just think how I would be like Robinson Crusoe if I got angry and rejected people who disagreed with me about facts. I really would. David Smith says underneath, there's something about Benjamin. That is a reference to the brilliant Haverly Brothers movie, There's Something About Mary, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's incredibly funny. And Charles said, I think so. This Scott fellow's infatuated with him, and Ben hasn't figured out who it is yet. Apparently I'm quite bad at that. Sometimes I find out that some woman has been flirting with me from somebody else, and I don't realise they're flirting with me. It's maybe I'm a little bit on the spectrum myself. I don't know. But she said, she likes you, don't you? And I said, does she? I was just talking to her, and she was talking about, no, she was flirting with you. And I said, I didn't really notice. Oh dear. All those opportunities I passed up because I'm a bit spurgy about things like that. Free will live stream. Roadhog360 says, why is the thumbnail of this video oddly threatening? Let's have a look. Is it? Let me just check. I'll just check on the blog, because I actually use the same pictures. I illustrate the blog notices with the same pictures. Anyway. God blimey, how many live streams do I do? I'm like this. I just got this look on my face. Is that threatening, 360, Roadhog 360? I'm just sort of like, I just got this weird look on my face. I don't have my earphones on. I don't know if you. I don't know. I don't really think that's a very threatening expression. You know. I suppose I look mean because I'm sort of bald and I'm quite large and muscular, so I look mean. But I'm actually not. I'm actually a really nice guy. I believe I am objectively a really nice guy. I mean, not that I'm a pushover. You know. I think I'm assertive enough. But what? But you know, I'm not aggressive, and I'm not obnoxious. I try not to be anyway. We now have Israel Diego Rivera, the genius too, the real genius, who says, we need the Truth Inquisition. Torture Russell to get him to spill the beans on Ben. Oh my goodness, I don't know what you do, man. You put him on the hot coals, he'll pop. Already his previous incarnation did burst because I sat on him and there was a plate with a fork underneath, and the fork punctured him, and he sort of lost his internal pressure quite quickly and turned into a big flat green thing. So I put some tape over it and blew him up again, but it didn't work. So I had to go to Area 51 and order a new Russell from there, and the Men in Black delivered it soon afterwards, which is nice. Reply to comment 49. Charles from Project Camelot. When you made that salute to a fellow hospital porter, you look just like Benny Hill. Oh yeah. He's funny, he is. That's a compliment there from Charles. I know you Americans, you love our comedy, don't you? You Americans love British comedy. I know you have absolutely fabulous Red Dwarf, all these comedies. Perhaps because I have to say it. You know, most American sitcoms are pretty awful. I don't like them at all. They're pretty useless. I mean, you've got some good like comedy. It's ironic, you know, because there's some great comedies in terms of the big screen. You know, cinema. Hollywood produces some such wonderful, brilliant, witty comedies, but you know, your TV sitcoms are pretty lousy. Charles also says on reply to comments 49, Magic Juice is a brand of furniture polish pen. No wonder you had missing time if you were drinking that. Well, you know, Terps is getting so expensive, Charles. You know what I mean? I tried Windoline, but you know, it didn't really hit the mark, if you know what I mean. Okay, Charles. Reply to comments 49. All right, this is Charles from Project Camelot on David Paulides. You specifically mentions the J. Tony case, which Paulides deliberately altered. The actual case was published in the Sarasota Herald Tribune, May the 28th, 1982, and Ulster Star Banner, respectively. Paulides changed the details as he does in these cases. Jay didn't vanish. He was seen taking a transport. Jay was diabetic and forgot to take his insulin, which caused him to become disorientated. The distance was 8 miles, not 4. It happened in a different place. Paulides changed it as an excuse for his cluster idea. Paulides was never a detective in his life. He claims to have spent 7,000 hours on these cases, but I was able to find it in less than minutes. That's right, J. Tony. All right, I mean, I don't remember that. Did I actually refer to that? Because I don't remember that particular case. Okay. Disappearance. Let's have a look. J. Tony disappearance. The fence disappears. Tony J. Oh dear, I can't find any. You know what? This is really bad, Charles. I'm sorry about this. I can't find. I don't remember what I mentioned that. 1982. Was this? So somebody disappeared. Okay. I don't remember that in any way. Obviously, like if David Paulides made up specifically fabricated evidence to do with that, then that's wrong. He needs to face a tribunal, and obviously he needs to put his side across, or someone needs to put his side across. Indeed, but if he actually did what you said he did, then that's out of order. But I really have to apologise. I don't remember the actual case you referred to, even though I specifically mentioned it. It's so much going on. Sarasota Herald, Ulster Star Banner. Hang on, I'll just Google the names of those places. Sarasota. It may give me a clue about what I'm talking about. Sarasota, Florida. Okay. It's in Florida. Okay, and what's the other one? The Ulster Star Banner. Okay, Ulster Star. It's not a Kala star, is it? Ocala Star Banner. Where's okay? Ocala Star Banner. Again, Florida. Ocala, Florida. Okay, Star Banner, Ocala Star Banner. Right, you are. Yes, that's in Marion County, Florida, which is slightly to the north, and it's sort of in the center of the base of the Panhandle. Whereas Sarasota is on the east coast of Florida, on the Gulf Coast. Right. I really have to apologise. I don't know any more than that. I can't remember referring to that. If I did, then I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. Okay, Charles says, no, Michael Gillari and Thomas Myers couldn't sue Paulides for stealing and altering their work because it was obtained... Hang on, I've got to get my tag back. Because it was obtained from public records, which anyone can do. In cases where people like Paulides deliberately change details of real cases, they would take the individuals themselves or their family member to sue for distress and defamation, which is a lengthy and expensive business. This is exactly why Paulides was rejected by every publisher he approached and had to use a Bigfoot site to produce this absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Echoes of Steve mumbling coming about. Okay. No, oh yeah, Thomas Myers is a Bigfoot hunter, I know. Yeah, I know he is. But Michael Giliari, that's an Italian name. I don't know. I can't remember that base. I'm sorry, I was probably talking about something I can't remember what it was. It's 3 weeks ago. Apologies. Okay, Tim the Pigeon Master says on reply to comments 49. We have here a YouTube link. Oh, this is Black... Oh, bloody ads. Hang on. Blackadder's court-martialed. Yeah, this is funny.
Have a last, and I think you'll find decisive witness. Call Private Baldrick.
Oh, yeah. Deny everything, Baldrick. No! No, I'm not. No! That's a good one, Tim, isn't it? Yeah, I love that. That was Blackadder goes forth. Look at... Yeah. He's... called General Melchett is there. You shot an innocent pigeon! Yeah, and disobeyed some orders as well. Brilliant, classic comedy, those. Same video, Jack Burns. Thanks, Ben, for your replies. By the way, I agree. Baldwin, not a conspiracy, more acting without thinking about possible risk. Yeah, I don't think there's anything suspicious about that. To be honest, I've not looked into it much. I mean, I've just downloaded instantly the Stefan Molyneux commentary on this. I put it on my earphones for work. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have that kind of job where I can just listen to things on my earphones while I'm working. But I'll have to listen to that. But to be honest, it sounds to me like it sounds to me like it was another terrible accident, like the one on the one in the Twilight Zone movie, where 3 cast members were killed in this helicopter crash, and this sounds very similar. In this case, it was one person who was killed. Obviously, there's going to be a lawsuit of some kind. There was a strike going on at the time, and I know that the unions had been very. They'd had complaints about various safety regulations and things on the set. I know, but Baldwin is the producer of the film as well as the star, and so the buck stops with him at the end of the day. Anyway, here we go. Gary Robinson says, "Hey Ben, I just watched a trailer for a new French movie called UFO, which looks really good. The trailer says it's based on a true story." Oh, right. The French word for UFO is ovni, O-V-N-I. Which stands for, oh right, UFO train. Oh,
Tous les indicateurs sont ouverts.
Right. That looks good. Hang on.
Décollage.
We have liftoff. All right. So it's just. Oh, rocket just blew up. All right. What does OVNI stand for? Okay, it's OVNI, O-V-N-Y. Okay. It means a UFO. And it stands for, its English translation of OVNI. Objet voyant non identifié. Which literally means unidentified flying objects. It does. It's the same in Spanish, actually. It's which is the same. I have invented the word PNH, which is Welsh. It stands for Peth Nidwedi Nabod and Hedvan, which again is the same thing. You may have seen you may have seen that written on PNH. You might have seen it on my Penturk videos. But yeah, I'll have a look. All right, I'll have a look at that, Gary. Yeah, we'll have a look. UFO. Yeah, right you are. Right, we have now, same video. All of these have been on Reply to Comments 49. Ravenhill, The Sky Black Hooded Merchant 1968 says, Hi Ben, a couple of things. What do you think about this online safety bill that may curtail people's online freedoms? Do you think it will pass into law? Also, what do you think of Britain now, the fact that it's overcrowded due to mass immigration and there's people and traffic everywhere? That really gets me down at times. I'd appreciate your thoughts, Ben. The online harms bill is very obviously intended to simply, it's designed to, as you say, keep people free from harm online, but I think its real purpose is simply to it's another brick in the wall, basically, of internet censorship. We've already had quite a few already with the DMCA and things like that. This is going to make things worse. It won't it won't silence us. What it'll do is it'll just continue this fork in the road where the internet is going, which really everything to do with shadow banning and the demonetization of things is all a part of. Where really the internet's going to split into two. You're going to have the mainstream internet with all the mainstream stuff on and the boring cat videos from independent producers. The interesting stuff's going to go on the other way. It's going to go onto the dark web. It's going to go onto alt text sites. It's going to go onto blockchain. It's going to go into peer-to-peer systems, things like Gab, things like Getter. So I don't believe they can actually physically prevent people posting things they don't like online, because it's like trying to paint over the sky. The internet is basically everywhere. I mean, they can't stop you connecting your computer to another computer. But what they can do is they can try and prevent people from finding your material by banning you from all the most popular platforms like mainstream social media, and also anything you do post on there will be shadow banned if you're from an account they don't like. But in the end, it's not going to work. I mean, this sort of thing, really, I found that everything that the bad guys are doing at the moment is backfiring so badly on them. They all have side effects that are detriment to them. So, despite everything, I feel optimistic. I feel optimistic that whatever happens, it's just this voice of reassurance that I talked about on my live stream. It won't stop me, certainly. I'm going to keep doing HPANWO TV no matter what, wherever I have to go. Charles Scott, hey Charles, regarding your reply to my comment located in your reply to comments video 48, it saddens me to say, beyond reasonable doubt, you are a proven liar for saying a tribunal is still required for the following reasons. You said you'd condemn Charles from Project Camelot if my testimony was proven true, and you wanted a tribunal to see if sufficient evidence existed to verify my testimony is true. What makes me a proven liar? Well, let's have a listen to this. Charles, this is a very long comment. All right, okay. I said if it was proven what he did wrong was proven, but I'm not going to take your word for it, Charles Scott. After seeing the evidence of screenshots, you acknowledged my testimony was proven true without conducting a tribunal. I said what you posted sounded persuasive. I can't remember exactly what I said. If I said that everything you said was proven true because of your statements about Charles Scott, then yeah, but I mean, if I said that was a mistake. It was then you had sufficient grounds to condemn him without the need for a tribunal. You failed to dictate the vast majority of my comments in reply to comments 48, thus suggesting you knew the presented evidence was sufficient beyond reasonable doubt that the tribunal was unnecessary to condemn him. No, I wouldn't do that, Charles Scott. I would not omit certain information for convenient reasons, because I did it probably because there was just too much in it. Honestly, I really wouldn't do that. I really wouldn't. Anyway, he carries on. You claimed I had already posted this comment beforehand, when in fact I posted it once on YouTube and at the same time on Facebook, and you have never replied to this comment before. Well, I'm sorry, Charles, I must have, in that case I got it mixed up with another comment, and I'm very sorry. I made a mistake. But you know, you do post a massive amount of material, so these mistakes are easy to make. I'm virtually certain you used this as an excuse to cherry-pick my comment. And no, I did not. And leave out the evidence that exposes beyond reasonable doubt the truths and lies of this matter. I do not. During your comment, your body language, touching your nose and rubbing around your eyes, are classic signs that you are lying. Oh, God, you're doing the Peter Hyatt thing now, are you, Charles? Funny enough, Checkpoint did the same thing. I really am not lying. If I did, I do that anyway at certain times. You are wrong to say my accusation testimony is an argument between myself and Charles from Project Camelot, because you acknowledged my testimony is proven true, and therefore there was no argument to be had. Hang on. You said your testimony, your accusation that Charles from Project Camelot presented you with fake material. Is that it? I don't remember saying that had been proven true. If I did, it was a mistake. I can't keep up with this. I know, in a sense, I think it's because I did use your material in my UFO Truth magazine article. Oh, man. Despite already telling you, you falsely claim I'm manipulating you or trying to get you to take my side of the story. Well, you are. You're being you are essentially moral blackmailing me, Charles Scott, and I don't like that. That is manipulative. You are trying to suck me into what is essentially a personal issue between you and Charles. I suppose because I used your material in the UFO Truth magazine, and I didn't go through all the maths myself. I didn't get it checked independently by a third party. Maybe I should have done that. In which case, I apologise to any readers. But you see, it just shows confirmation bias affects us all. And I've never denied that, and the skeptics have their own confirmation bias, and so, of course, I do as well. But, really, you're completely wrong about me. You've completely misjudged me here. You really have. And you are being manipulative. I'm now happy to draw closure on this matter and remain amicable towards you when I see you at Truth Seekers, even if you aren't. All right, would you go to Truth Seekers Northeast? All right, well, I'm happy to draw a line under this too, Charles, because I really don't know how to resolve this. You say there's no... You do say, oh, no tribunal is needed. Well, I think in this case a tribunal is needed. Tribunal should always be used in this situation. I said to Charles Project Camelot, maybe we should set up a tribunal for David Paulides. It's just, if we don't have tribunals, then we live in a kind of he said, she said world. And that's actually not unlike the legal reporting in the American media when it comes to things such people such as Carl Rittenhouse and Derek Chauvin, where essentially the newspapers tell you who's the bad guy and who's the good guy, and the courts just do whatever the newspapers say because they're scared that the brainwashed masses will just riot if they don't give them the result they want. See, that's what happens when you don't get due process. And I'm not going to endorse that kind of behaviour here online. However, there's nothing you can say that will detract from the fact beyond reasonable doubt you are a liar, and therefore the validity of everything you say has to be questioned. Well, you are actually making assumptions about my motives, and the only evidence you have is that I did this a few times, which I do anyway. And something else I said which might have been a mistake. You have also been disrespectful to me in several ways. In what ways? What ways? It matters not what you have to say, your YouTube viewers, as they can draw their own conclusions over this matter too. All right. Well, look, I'm not. I don't. How have I been disrespectful to you? I've objected to your conduct at certain points. I think you are trying to press gang me into taking your side in this whole issue when I don't have the knowledge necessary to take your side. Really, put yourself in my shoes, Charles. What would you do? Well, I'm glad you're drawing closure on this anyway, because I'm happy. I'm fed up with it, and I'd like to move on. I'd like to move on too. Same video, Charles Scott. Charles from Project Camelot is lying again, and this comments in this comment section saying I called 2 9/11 survivors crackpots and liars. Yeah, he did just now, and I don't know if that's a lie, but that's what he claimed it in this. He has claimed it in the comments on this video too. Where is the evidence to back his claim? In reply to comments 48, you found it amusing that Charles from Project Camelot impersonated Steve mumbling. Well, I did not find it amusing, as the contents was focused on me. All right. Well, Charles, maybe I was so overwhelmed by Steve's wit and timing, Project Camelot's wit and timing, that I overlooked that. I'm sorry you didn't find that amusing. I personally am personally able to enjoy humour, even that which is directed against myself. Reply to comments 49. Will Michelle says, Hi Ben, I've been watching American news sites all day and they couldn't rig the Virginian vote. And the Minneapolis defund the police vote. People are waking up. Good on the Yanks. The Dems are panicking right now. Fuck the New World Order. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're fuck the New World Order. There's a lot of panic in the American establishment right now, in the fake American establishment. Definitely. Yeah, it's, in fact, I see it unfolding across the world. And just look at the way they're acting. What am I doing for time? 4 minutes remaining. Look at the way they're looking. They're so desperate to take this V word. It's like panic. It's like frenzy. So yeah, but thanks, Will. Much appreciated. Reply to comments 49. The Tinfoil Hat Channel. That's a good name. There's no such thing as racists, only fools. There's no such thing as racists, only the N-word YouTube bans. There's no such thing as colour when right and wrong is black and white. The truth is, Satan wants to separate the white mountain people from the African sand people, because when they fall in love, as opposites attract, they fall deep. When you see yourself in another light, you will get up off your knees, and the fool cannot understand this. All right. Oh, that's interesting. I think that's a poem there. Which is interesting. I don't know quite. Poems are often open to different interpretations. Excuse me. Charles, Project Camelot. With time, every mountain is reduced to sand. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's like I think that's a line from a poet by Tolkien. It's one of the riddles in the riddles in the dark in The Hobbit. Oh, time, wasn't it? Yeah. What does all these things? And it's time. And the Tinfoil Hat Channel says to Project Camelot, but God has made from the sand every mountain. And Charles from Project Camelot says, so they're the same thing. Tinfoil Hatcher says, brother. Reply to comments 49. Ravenhill, the sky black hooded merchant, 1968 says, also, Ben, have you heard of the YouTube channel History Debunked? Simon is the guy who runs the channel. He puts out controversial videos about the state of the UK today and mass immigration, multiculturalism. I haven't. No, I haven't. You asked me another question, didn't you? Sorry, what was it, Raven? Somebody asked me another question. Yeah, sorry, Ravenhill. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to address the point you asked in the other video, in the other comment. You made another comment a little while ago. You said, "What do I think of Britain now? The fact that it's overcrowded due to mass immigration. There's people and traffic everywhere. It gets me down." I think it's horrible. It really is. It's depressing to see this happening, and know that it's being done deliberately, and knowing that it's such a huge obtrusive plan of action that the bad guys have to ruin the world. I just would like it to stop. Yeah. But History Debunked. I might know him. Hang on. Oh, History Debunked. It's come up as a highlight, which means... Oh, right, I subscribe to him. Oh, right, I have heard of him. I sub to him. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some red lines. I've been watching some of his videos. I can't remember them exactly, but yeah. Ravenhill, yes, I have. It seems I have been watching him, although I don't remember doing so. But I'll watch some more stuff about that, yeah, because the mass immigration, multiculturalism thing really frightens me, the way it's being imposed on us without our permission. You know, we were never asked, as the saying goes. And it's very, very important to building this new world order, to creating this dictatorial world government. And in fact, the last few years we've seen an industrialized movement of people, mostly from Syria, across the world. So yeah, it upsets me a lot. Bluebeam says on the 49 on reply comments 49. Via de man, I found it on YouTube. Want to try it? Really? Thanks. Is it on YouTube? All right. Hope it's got English subtitles for you. It's a good film, actually. It's classic Verhoeven, actually. It's very like his later ones. Bluebeam says, I really miss this sort of Dutch dark humour. It has much of it. Yeah. People claim the Dutch don't have much of a sense of humour, but they do. They do. It's just their own particular type. Oh, and that's the end of an hour already. So I'll be back shortly with hour number 2. Hi guys, I'm back. I needed to take a little break there. I was feeling drowsy all of a sudden. I got myself a cup of coffee. It's only 5:30 in the afternoon. That's dark outside. Ed Kaler, hello Ed, on reply to comments 49 says here. So it's a timestamp here. Hang on. I won't name names here. The guy turned up to talk about chemtrails. All right, yeah. So what happened with the guy who refused to speak about chemtrails, and how did Ian R. Crane fill in the time? I can't remember, honestly. I think he just... Oh, what happened? I can't remember. It was really annoying. This guy just said, "Oh, if Olga Raffa's there, I'm not speaking," and stuff like that. I mean, how dare he? How bloody dare he? I think it was Olga Raffa. Not Olga Raffa who did it. She was in the audience. Oh, ridiculous! But I mean, that's really Ian. Spends a lot of money bringing those people to his conference, which his conferences are very upmarket. It costs a lot of money to bring them. Sometimes they travel a long way. He brings them from all over the world. So they have to stay in this nice place. Oh, blimey, I don't know. I can't remember, man. Poor Ian. I know Ian, with his experience, would have winged it in some way or another. I'll have to look into that, actually, find out the details. Ed also says here, where's the old lady murder case? So what's this? Right, another timestamp. There was one that really upset me. It was an old lady who got killed. And it was actually one I'm researching at the... Oh, right, yes. That is a lady from... Oh, what's her name? Okay. What's a Kitty somebody? MI5 Kitty, was it? Kit Harrington, what's her name? I don't know. No, what's her bloody name? MI5 murder. MI5 agent murdered. What was it? No, I've got the spy in the bag case. What's the name of the lady? It was an old lady who was. She lived alone, but she had connections to MI5 or something. She's retired. Someone broke into her house, and I think they were told they tortured her and things like that. And then she was killed. She was found lying in a ditch. And someone was arrested and charged with the murder, and they eventually ended up in jail. But this person protested their innocence, and I think they were released on appeal. The real killer got away, and blimey. And there was always this thing hanging over it. It was something to do with nuclear weapons and stuff like that. That this had been some kind of hit because this lady was involved somehow in nuclear weapons research, or I know she was in MI5 or MI6. If I could find out, I'll find out for you, Ed. But it was a horrible case. Ed Kaler says in 20117, no missing time in the reply to comments. Then, oh right, what's this segment? If it's anything less or more, guys, you're not going to believe this. It was dead on 1 hour. Oh no missing. That's right. Oh, I've heard nothing from Tesco. I mean, they never got back to me. It all went out of my head. It's over the time limit now. However, now I have nothing like that has happened since. So I kind of stopped worrying about it because ever since then everything's been normal. Right, I've got now Red Joan film review. This is Emma Goutard says, oh, it's French. Let me just I have to run this through translate. Sorry. This is a French. Someone's writing in French here. Let's have a look. I understand not everyone can speak in English, but I will. It was. Let me just translate it. Here we go. It was nice of them to put this here. Hang on. French. Great, this movie. No surprise for the nuclear bomb and Stalin. Right. It was a good movie. What's your name? Emma. I think it was Red Joan. It was interesting, wasn't it? It was based on Melita Norwood, the history of Melita Norwood, who was there was an article called "The Spy Who Came In from the Co-op," and she was this old lady just living around. Apparently, she'd been spying for the KGB, and she was based on this character Red Joan. Right, UFO Disclosure 2021, it could happen any time. Sorenable says, thanks, Ben. You're welcome, Sorenable. And I've just put in the wrong... I've got the wrong thing on my clipboard because I used Google Translate. So I've got to edit that comment and change it. Okay. There you go. Save. You're welcome, Sorenable. Glad you like it. Diego Rivera says on UFO Disclosure 2021, it could happen any time. The John Lewis alien represents Lucifer. It is both sexes. It is a kind of like androgynous thing. I mean, to me, it's female. It's clearly female, but it has short hair. It has... Extraterrestrials are often portrayed this way. It's quite slim. It's either it doesn't have a female figure, or either that or it's pre-puberty. Aliens are often actually presented in this way, Diego Rivera. As for it representing Lucifer, that's more than I know. Okay, we now have a thread on UFO Disclosure 2021. It could happen anytime. Neil Peel says, the ad was likely planned 6 months back, just as the Pentagon report was being published. So I think one has to connect the dots. Interesting thought, Neil, yeah. Oh, yeah, these things take a long time to make. They obviously, the special effects, the design work, it's quite something. And Gary Robinson says, in reply to that, there's a lot of UFOs on space-related shows and movies coming up, more than usual. Yeah, like that UFO thing from that French thing. Feels like they are trying to bring it to the mainstream for the sheeple to start taking note. That's what I think they're doing. Yeah, Gary, for whatever purpose, that is what they're definitely doing. There's been an element of this since the beginning, since like the early space race and things like that, but it seems to be intensifying since 2017. And Checkpoint says to Gary, the woos have been saying that for decades. Correct, Checkpoint, because it's true. David Smith says to Gary Robinson, more porn is being consumed and produced than at any other time in history. I wonder what they have in store for us. Well, David, yeah, I mean, that's probably something to do with it. It's all online now, isn't it? You know, not that I would know. And David Smith says to Checkpoint, full exposure coming soon. Exposure is another word you could use, yeah. Exposure, incidentally, is the literal meaning of the word apocalypse. Checkpoint says to David Smith, woos have been saying for decades, and not only for disclosure, NWO, police state, fake alien invasion, and so forth. So how soon is soon? Well, it's, as you said, even though we've been saying this for decades, Checkpoint, there seems to be a ramping up of the whole situation. It seems to be intensifying. It seems to be strengthening. Everything's coming quicker and in more greater succession. David Smith says to Checkpoint, between now and sometime in the future. But don't hold me to it. Oh, very funny, David. Yeah. That's a bit vague, isn't it? Checkpoint says to Dave, so your comment was completely pointless. Checkpoint, I think David is on your side, you know. Gary Robinson says to Checkpoint, on the flip side, while writing my previous comment, what I overlooked was the fact that in film and TV, especially in Hollywood, there are certain themes that become popular simply because everyone is copying each other. So that could be another explanation. Yeah, you get like the bandwagon movies, don't you? Like sometimes they come out at the same time. I mean, you get like, for example, Deep Impact and Armageddon came out roughly the same time, even though they were pretty much based on the same. They both had the same theme, asteroid impact, you know, things like that. But it could be that they got wind of what each one team got wind of what the other was doing, and they decided to emulate. I don't know. So there was that bandwagon element. However, what we're seeing now is far beyond that. I'd say it's far beyond it. It could be there are people simply getting something morphic in the air, and that it's inspiring them. At the same time, there's distinct messages being given out relating to aliens. Like I said, it's not just the media; it's the Space Force as well, and their uniforms. As I said in the video. Checkpoint says to Gary, you said there's a lot of UFO and space-related movies and shows coming up, more than usual. Could you show us your research as to how many compared to some numbers, stats, for example? Personally, I think the woos are more sheeple than the non-woos. Ponder that for a while. In my own family and others, my group of friends and other people's, I see far more diversity than from the tinfoil hatters. Well, I can't speak for your family, Checkpoint. However, I'd say within my own family there's very little diversity of opinion. But as you know, there's a lot of division within the woo-woo world as well, with what you call the tinfoil hatters. You've seen the arguments I've been having tonight with Charles Scott, for example. Gary Robinson says to Checkpoint, these are just ones I've seen trailers for, but there's a lot more. Most of them are blockbuster movies. I don't have time to do the research you mentioned. Maybe that's something Ben could look into. Might be interesting. Yeah, well, exactly, Gary. That's not a bad idea. I'll see if I can get some statistics. But anyway, this is interesting. Invasion, Apple TV. Foundation, Apple TV. UFO, Showtime. OVNI, Netflix, French TV series. Top Secret UFO Projects, Declassified, Netflix, documentary series. Exactly. And that doesn't include Unidentified. It doesn't include that that Channel 7 one from Australia. The one with Ross Coulthard. Coulthard did that. There's loads of them, isn't there? And there's Phenomenon, and then a documentary. There's that new one, which not James Cameron. What's his name? Someone else is coming out with not Grant Cameron. What's his bloody name? He's coming out with another one. Gary Robbins says, also, Raised by Wolves, HBO, which is coming back for a second series. Oh, blimey. Gary says here, it's also been announced that Big Talk, who produced The Outlaws with Christopher Walken for the BBC, are making an alien drama for ITV. Oh, goodness me. All these things to review. Now, based on what you said, I mean, that's quite a concentration, isn't it, Gary? Which means either this is has them being made for a purpose, or they are responding to a change of atmosphere within the zeitgeist. Indeed, I think Checkpoint might partly be right, or is it David who might partly be right, saying that this is simply they're simply responding. They're simply responding to. Yeah, he said here, copying each other. So Gary Robinson, yeah, everyone's copying one another. Oh, you said it yourself, Gary, yeah. But even if that's the case, then it means the zeitgeist is there. If the zeitgeist is there, then that's what there has to be something. If they're copying, there has to be something there for them to copy, which in itself is remarkable. Even if it's not all part of some agenda, you know what I mean? Charles from Project Hamlet says on it could happen any time. Something tells me that the aliens wouldn't plan their day using human calendar systems. All right. So, do you mean they wouldn't necessarily turn up at Christmas, for example? Neil Peel says, also, if you look at Preston Dennett's latest video on flying saucers over schools, they seem to be doing just that. Right, I haven't seen that one. I mean, the flying saucers over schools is remarkable because there's loads. I mean, 3 spring to mind immediately: Broadhaven, Westall, and Rua. Different parts of the world, different times, very, very similar in nature. If that's the case, then I haven't seen that from Preston Dennett. Let's have a look. Hang on. Preston Dennett. Let's have a look. Right. Oh, yeah, 2 school UFO encounters. I see. 3 bed. Right. Okay. I'll check that out, Neil. Thank you very much. It could happen any time. Warbabe1951 says, brilliant. Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. There's 3 hand claps there. Thank you. You're getting a love heart for that. Ah, Steve Mumbling is back. Hey, it could happen any time. I knew that would get Steve Mumbling out from his little monastery and back into the real world. Marley Pumpkin says, childish expression. So, a childish obsession. And there are 5 thumbs down. Distracting your acolytes from reality. Ben the Shill. Oh my goodness me, Marley Pumpkin. Let's see. Can we see your evidence that I'm a shill? Don't tell me. Oh, what's it, Ben the Shill? Who are you? Are you Richard D. Hall or something? Let's see your evidence for that. People who say things you think are distracting, etc., are not necessarily working for MI5. Anyway, what's the reality? Firstly, what is reality? What am I distracting them away from? In other words, what is unreal about what I'm distracting them towards? And secondly, prove that I'm doing it deliberately. If you can't do any of those things, then shut your stupid mouth. Neil Peel says, Ben is not a shill. Why'd you come and accuse him of such? Oh, bless you, Neil. Thank you. And Charles from Project Camelot said, Ben would make a terrible shill. He keeps making propaganda videos that end up getting banned. It kind of defeats the whole object of being a shill. Yes, exactly. And Steve Mumbling says, he's not a shill. He's just obsessed with this UFO nonsense. His T-shirt says it all. Dreaming saucers. He's dreaming. I'm wearing this one now, Capel Green. The Dreaming Saucers T-shirt. Well, the Dreaming Saucers, as you know, is a conference I organised in 2018 with the help of a number of other people. It was very, very good, Steve. We had a great time. And it's now the name. The Dreaming Saucers group is still running. It's something I've now basically started a local group. We've had our first meeting here called Dreaming Saucers. I don't know if you realise this, but the word dreaming saucer, you say dreaming saucer, he's dreaming. It's a play on words. It refers to a poem by Matthew Arnold about Oxford, where he refers to Oxford as the city of dreaming spires. And this is very, very famous. It's it's become kind of like a tagline for Oxford. It's almost like a nickname, the city of dreaming spires. And let me just find the details here. Okay, hang on. Dreaming spires. And there we are. Orange is the meaning of dreaming spires. Refers to the city and University of Oxford. It's coined by the English poet Matthew Arnold, 1822 to 1888, in Thyrsis, a monody to commemorate his friend. And it says night, and it goes up here. It's all about walking, and that sweet city with her dreaming spires. She needs not June for beauty's heightening. There you are. Check it out. That's where the term the dreaming saucers was a play on that line in that poem. As in dreaming spires, dreaming saucers. Get it, dummy? Charles from Project Camelot says, the logistics alone means something like disclosure won't ever happen. Half the world would say, take me to your leader. The other half would go to war or start burying themselves in holes in the ground. It's absolute rubbish. Yes. To be honest, Charles, that is a possibility, which is, I mean, I don't know if logistics is the right word. I would say more upheaval, crisis, apocalypse, literally apocalypse in both the popular and the literal sense of the word. Exposure and Armageddon, you know. But you see, it's possible that what we're seeing in the media now is an attempt to offset that in the event of disclosure actually happening. And Steve Mumbling says to Charles, the bottom line is, there's nothing to disclose. Well, obviously there is, Steve, isn't there? And Charles says to Steve Mumbling, regarding actual proof of aliens, I don't think there is. Show me the spaceship and I'll reconsider. Well, I think there is. I think there is, though, Charles, you see. I think decisive physical evidence does exist. Checkpoint says in reply to Charles, most people now carry a HD camera, stills and videos, yet UFO reports are going down year on year. Probably the question, why didn't you film it, is the reason reports are down and UFO clubs and groups are disbanding. Is that statistically correct? If so, it could be what you're regarding, and I've actually noticed this myself, is that the signal-to-noise ratio problem which emerged with the emergence of portable cameras in everyone's phone, which has been around for a while now. It's been several decades since mobile phones with this facility became popular. have resulted, and also the emergence of popular and very cheap special effects software, which means anyone can create a fake image of something, has resulted in a terrible signal-to-noise ratio problem. Reports are the reason reports seem to be going down is probably there are fewer fake ones. It's possibly the novelty of fake UFOs is wearing off. The reason is, sadly, because photographic evidence just doesn't carry the same weight it used to. And the momentum of the initial fake UFO reports that came out when these cameras and this software became available has now gone. So what you're left with is much, much fewer. But at the same time, you have a distillation of genuine cases, which is good. So fewer reports is actually something beneficial, because the ones left over are going to be the most interesting. UFO clubs and groups are disbanding. Some are, yeah. There are some that come. UFOs, different clubs pop up at different times and come down. There are many in this country. There's SUFON, where I'm speaking in January. January the 6th, one's a UFO network. SUFON.com, look it up. Also HPANWO Voice. I hope to see you there. And there's several regional ones as well. Some of them have shut down over the years, yeah, which is sad. The High Wycombe Paranormal Group now is sadly disbanded. But new ones appear as well. And you say it's the reason that reports are down, UFO clubs are disbanding. I don't, as I said, with the reports being down, I don't think that's the reason. The question, why didn't you film it? Well, sometimes it's weird, but, with Kaz Clark, sometimes the shock and the shock of the encounter means you don't always think of filming it. And to be honest, though, some people I know have spoken to said it did cross my mind to film it. And I got my camera out and I started filming, and they said, "Look, here's the evidence." But unfortunately, the film quality very rarely matches the drama of the sighting. You get like a little blob going around like some oscilloscope. Look at that, a little light or something, because the person is excited, their hands are shaking. Probably the phone's not focused properly. It may be night time, and they don't have the actual proper night vision facility. So again, it's very often it's not worth it. To be honest, if I had an encounter like that, I'm not sure I would bother even trying, because someone would say I faked it, and they might be right. That's the problem. Checkpoint says to Neil Peel, "And how would you know? You had an Apollo believer posing as a hoax believer on your show time and time again. He fooled you good and proper." Right, you're talking about Mark Asala, and I've already explained to you, Checkpoint, how that's not the case. You are really picking up this ball and running with it too far. And Charles says to Checkpoint, and that and the fact they're starting to be audited now has a lot to do with it. What started to be auditing? Checkpoint says, and the stigma of being known as the bloke who had probes rammed up his arse. Ben, after your missing time, did you have a sore poop shoot? You've been watching too many movies, Checkpoint. Firstly, my poop shoot is none of your business. If I did have anything wrong with it, I wouldn't tell you. I would have told my friend I had a meeting with. I wouldn't go public with something like that immediately, believe me. But look, suffice to say that ever since I had that encounter, I had that experience more than a month ago now, everything's gone back to normal. I try to. I sent off. I wrote to Tesco's under the Data Protection Act. I filled out their form and everything, and sent them the right documentation, but they never got back to me. And by now the footage would be deleted. But if it doesn't happen again, I'll maybe put it up to. Hopefully, it'll be a one-off and it won't bother me again. Okay, it could happen any time. Mr. Gianluca Vialli. Thanks for the upload, Ben. You're welcome, Mr. Gianluca Vialli. I love these Scottish names. You're welcome. Reply to comments 49. Charles from Project Camelot. Oh, bloody hell, what is Scott moaning about now? No, I really was talking like Steve Mumbling, so you would do the voice. Makes me laugh. Anyone who can't recognise a mumblingism must have an IQ of a carrot and stick to peddling piffle in their basement bedsit reading absolute rubbish. Yeah, I mean, Charles Scott is really, he's being oversensitive here. He really is. I was just a bit. I was having a laugh. I really was. I didn't mean any disrespect to him. Gary Robinson. It could happen any time. Hey Ben, are you watching Foundation? It's a really good show. No, I've actually read the book. If it's based on the Isaac Asimov series of books, Foundation and Empire, I've actually read one of them, and I remember thinking it was quite good. Gary Robinson. Also Invasion on Apple TV. Hey, Invasion, what's that? Let's have a look. I don't have Apple TV. It's already here. Invasion TV show. Here we go. Invasion. Right. A science fiction TV show created by Simon Kinberg and David Weil. An alien invasion seen through different perspectives of various people on the continent. But you know what? It's the kind of thing I really ought to watch, isn't it? It's the kind of thing I think, you know, I need to check out and see. I'll see if I can get hold of it somewhere, you know. And E.T.'s asking. E.T. says on It Could Happen Again. Why was my comment removed? I don't know. I didn't do it. And E.T. says YouTube silencing my theory again. Do you know what, E.T.? I've discovered the same thing on other people's channels. I've had comments disappearing on other people's channels that I post. I actually put a comment on I put two comments on some videos a couple of days ago, and they just vanished within an hour. Now, I didn't know why, because the person whose channel I was posting on, you know, I'd had no social interaction with. They probably never heard of me, so they had no reason to sort of like delete my comment. The comment was polite, it was to the point, you know, I wasn't spamming or anything like that. And I put up another comment just to test it, and the same thing happened, so the person hadn't blocked me. So it is a bit of a mystery, that is, it is, yeah. It could happen any time. No Mac 2. Do you think Big Ben is being rigged to blow in a FIFA Vendetta-style false flag? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say, No Mac, because there are all kinds of different false flags they could have. In a sense, we're going through a massive false flag at the moment with the you know what, the C thing, you know. I don't know. I mean, it could be that the last card will be played, in which case you could see that kind of thing. Yeah. Right, Pentac UFO, Charles from Project Camelot. Ben, this is nonsense. The C-17 and C-130 Hercules are not capable of firing ordnance, and they aren't jet-powered, so they can't have been chasing or firing on anything. All right, well, that doesn't make the entire video nonsense. That just suggests that the people observing the military activity made a mistake about which platforms were doing which role. We were doing which role. But that's all. After looking into this in considerable detail, the forensic evidence gathered by Gary Jones, the witness testimony from Kaz Clark and the fellow witness, I think something really weird happened there that night. I really do. It could happen any time. Steve mumbling. Bigelow's UFO material is terrestrial industrial waste. He lied about it either to get the contract or to toss them a bone for getting the contract. Really, Steve? So perhaps you could explain, you know, if it's terrestrial industrial waste, why does it have an isotopic ratio that is only normally found in meteorites? Charles from Project Hamlet says, Bigelow doesn't know dick. $20,000 for a piece of industrial waste, pocket change to him. Well, Charles, you see, I don't think it is industrial waste. I recommend watch Patient 17. That's a good film about implants. But there's lots of other things. I mean, the whole issue with physical evidence, I think, is very important. And also read Dr. Irena Scott's book, the two books she wrote. There's one called Sacred Corridors, and there's another one about everything that happened on the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and the research done at the Battelle Memorial Institute into this material. It's not industrial waste, no. It could happen any time. Steve Mumbling says, Seth Shostak says, if aliens are here, shall be tangible evidence to support that. Oh, what's that noise? Oh, I've had a reply added. Okay, well, that's good. No. Right, okay. I got a pop-up from YouTube. I tend to get worried when those appeared because they're usually telling me they're deleting a video or something. Just as I do. Ask if aliens are here. Show tangible evidence to support that, just as I do. Yeah, the tangible evidence is never produced, though, is it? So it's just like Seth Shostak. I say it's all rubbish. Just science fiction stories. One person couldn't launch a nuke if they had a nervous breakdown. The systems involved made sure that is possible. That was impossible. Okay. Right, Seth Shostak asks, show me the tangible evidence to support that, and the tangible evidence is never produced. Okay, this is basically what he said when he appeared in that ridiculous BBC documentary that the BBC asked me to be on, and I told them to get stuffed. Well, I actually put it less politely than that. But they wanted me to be in this program, and I said no way. He said this, and then you see the camera cutting away very subtly between him and Bridget Barclay. You can clearly, it's very obvious they're editing what she has to say. So one person couldn't launch a nuke if they had a nervous breakdown. I know very well that one person can't launch a nuke, but the question is, what happened in Russia was that the system started to operate independently of its human controllers. This is what was scary. It was the entire fire control procedure started to work automatically as a result of the presence of this UFO. Now, no weapon was launched. Obviously, no weapon was launched. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, would we? But they were afraid. They literally managed to shut down the process themselves just before launch. Charles from Project Camelot says, right, it takes a triangulation of 3 individuals to agree for that sort of action. There is no doomsday button. That's correct, Charles. I've actually seen documentaries about it. They sit in this underground bunker. There's 2, not 3, actually. And they have chairs like about 10 feet apart from each other, so they can't sort of reach over and do the same thing. They each have their own key. They put the key in the lock and turn it in this keyhole. That's how they trigger the firing procedure. Now, both of them have to do it at the same time. The keys have to turn together, and they then press a button at the same time to launch the missiles. No one person can do it. Now, that's actually true. What happened? I mean, I imagine. I don't know what this was an American nuclear launch facility. I don't know what the Russian one is like. However, the Russian one is probably very similar. And what happened was this whole thing just started to go by itself, started working by itself, and everyone was terrified. They were saying, "What are we going to do?" They were phoning up the control center and saying, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And they were struggling. They were pulling plugs and they were pressing buttons. No doubt they just tried to cut the power and things like that. And eventually they stopped it just before launch. So it doesn't matter, obviously the whole safeguard was bypassed. Right, it could happen any time. Steve Mumbling says, I was quite pleased here. I actually welcomed him back. I put a text in to welcome him back. In 2041, he'll be saying this could be the year of disclosure. And of course it won't be, because there's nothing to disclose. Perhaps SETI will hear something in the next 20 years. That'll be the only way we ever find out we're not alone. And I put here, welcome back, Steve. I have the perfect reply to you in the next comments reply video. Yeah. I don't know when disclosure will happen. I think it'll be before 2041. If you'd asked me before 2017, I would have said no. You're looking well over a decade at least. Excuse me. I've got a cough. I'd have to charge my phone up. I'd say you're looking at a decade at least. Post 2017, I'd say no. I mean, I agree with who was it? Interviewed? I think it was Grant Cameron, and he had Steve Bassett or Richard Dolan. They said it was Bryce Zabel. Yeah, Bryce Zabel and Ryan Sprague, Somewhere in the Skies. And he reckons maybe 2023 is the year we're looking at. But there is something to disclose, Steve, as I've explained many times in the multiple videos I've made in reply to yours. As for SETI, yeah, it actually, the success of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is virtually guaranteed. It is literally just a matter of waiting. The data's probably already on the disk. It's just waiting to be analysed. Did you see my SETI videos, Steve? Because I've made several videos about this subject. That in itself is a bit ironic, considering what they're looking for is already here on the Earth. But the success of SETI will probably have a positive knock-on effect on ufology, for the reasons I explained in my SETI video. By the way, if you really want to see a good version of my SETI talk, it's not on my channel. It's on another channel called Taj Investigates. T-A-J, Taj Investigates, and it's from 2017. Charles says to me, you're an amiable chap, Ben. So do you still contend there are reptile aliens on Earth doing unspeakable things to people? If so, what I can't figure out is why anyone would actually want that to be real. Okay, the answer to the first question is yes, I do. The answer to the second question is I can't either. I wouldn't want that to be real. I believe it happens to be true. It's not something I like. And David Smith says, maybe the James Webb telescope will pick something interesting up. If they can get it up into orbit, yes, David, yeah. I mean, the James Webb is actually a more sophisticated version of the other ones they got up there, such as the Hubble and the Kepler Observatory, the one that discovered Tabby Star. This one is more. This is a similar one, but it's more sophisticated. I believe it's designed to leave Earth orbit. It's designed to sit at a Lagrange point, I believe, an area where the gravitational forces are balanced between objects. It could, yeah. I mean, what it will discover sounds quite interesting. And Charles says to David Smith, a Martian hooker, perhaps. You've been watching Total Recall, haven't you? Is it the really little one or the one with 3 knockers? Dr. Keith says to Charles from Project Camelot, it's the cats from outer space, according to Simon Parkes. Oh, they're the cats. Yes, the cat creatures. Funnily enough, Simon is not the only person to report these encounters. Excuse me. Pardon me. And Charles says to Dr. Keith, oh, that's right, it's the cats and the mantids. Last year, when the sexual abuse came out, he blamed it on his mantid father. Don't think that will stand up in court somehow. Right. I think, as I explained in this video, Charles, you don't think that's going to stand up in court, what Simon said. Well, it seems that what's expected to stand up in court are these video live streams made by certain YouTubers who just are part of this look, everything's a hoax and I can see through it poser community, where they get a couple of dozen people together, including this Me Too heroine, and they all sit there dabbing their eyes while she talks about, oh, Simon Parkes did this and Simon Parkes did that, and they never call the police. They never do anything which you would do if it was a real accusation. Now I've got to ask you, right? Is that your definition of justice? I put this to Charles Scott. I'm putting it to you as well. Do you not think some kind of tribunal system is necessary? Also, for what you said about David Paulides, if it's true, then it needs to come out. But simply, you must understand, accusations does not equal confirmation. Otherwise, we could do away with courts altogether. We could just say, well, someone's accusing somebody, so therefore they're guilty. It's like what the feminists want to do with rape. The definition of a summary conviction is someone points and says they did this, and then that's it. It's all over. That person goes to jail, regardless of whether they're guilty or innocent. This is why the judiciary is essential for civilization. This is why when you see it being broken down, as we've seen in recent years in the United States, for example, for political reasons and for media sensation, it's so disturbing. Because it's one of these things, people just cast these things aside so easily. It's, who cares about logic? Who cares about what's right and wrong? Who cares what's fair and unfair? Okay, so you throw out logic, you lose science. You throw out ethics, you lose law. And then I'm afraid that's the end of civilization. It's back to whacking each other over the heads with clubs, guys. Steve Mumling says it couldn't happen. It could happen any time. And I think it could happen any time. That's the point. We may not get a build-up Everything's so chaotic at the moment that disclosure, we could say, well, it'll probably happen in a couple of weeks because of this happened or that happened. But no, it literally could happen any time. Steve Bumling says, unfortunately, there is no honesty in the UFO business. It's all BS. The UFO nuts are perpetrating the truth embargo. The truth is there's nothing to it but science fiction stories. Despite all your rhetoric, Steve, I don't agree with you. Firstly, there is dishonesty in the UFO business. There is honesty as well. There's been a lot of very infamous cases of dishonesty. We know all about the Benowitz affair. I've talked before about the Avery spy ring, Richard Doty and the others. There are other examples I could give to you. But it's not all BS, and there is there is honesty along with the dishonesty, and it's not just science fiction stories. It could happen any time. Jock of Ages says, so Space Cadet is now a real rank designation in the US Air Force. Oh, is it? Is there a Space Cadet? All right. That one made me chuckle, despite the fact these guys are going to be very intelligent professional airmen and women. Is that right? Oh, yeah, there was there was a Space Cadet. Yeah, he had a selfie taken of him with or photo taken of him with General Raymond at his graduation ceremony. Yeah. He was a Space Cadet. Just imagine, you could have a local Space Cadet, force. Like now you have like the Scouts and you have the Sea Cadets and things like that. Here, there's Sea Cadets here in Oxford, and there's Army Cadets and things like that. Some of the kids at my school went to those. And now along with that, you have Space Cadets. Yeah, just imagine that. I bet those are going to be popular with the kids, aren't they? I think, if I was a little kid, I would want to join the Space Cadets. I really would. Dr. Keith says, Ben is an honorary Space Cadet of the Intergalactic Feline Federation. Dr. Keith, I'm flattered you think I'm that young. But Intergalactic Feline Federation, no, I'm, I know, no, I'm not disrespecting Simon Parks here, but... he can have the cats and the mantids. I'd rather one of those. I prefer to have one of those sort of like those busty blonde Nordics. That's more my sort of style. And Jock of Ages says, "Lucky sod." We've got a long thread here now on it could happen any time. Diego Rivera says, there is WikiLeaks moon landing footage released. It clearly shows the moon landing's been hoaxed. Take a look. I think that's... No, unfortunately, Diego Rivera, that is actually from a film called Operation Avalanche. It's a movie. It's not real. I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about, the video. It's just simply a clip from that film. Now, Operation Avalanche, on the other hand, is a good movie. It's one of these found footage movies, and it's about the moon landings being hoaxed. It's very good, very shocking at the end. A lot of violence in it. I think you'll like that. But it's not from WikiLeaks. And Charles said underneath here, I put in my comments reply, yeah. And yet the same people who say the moon landing was hoax also says there's been advanced interstellar technology since the 1950s. Yes, you see, I don't deny that people have been at the moon. And when you consider the secret space program, people have certainly been to the moon. I can't imagine they wouldn't go there. But all we're claiming is that it wasn't done at the time using the technology and personnel history says it was done. Oh, by the way, where is that footage? That moon stuff. Hang on. There's moon video, mystery moon video. What's it called? Hang on. Because someone released these weird videos that were apparently taken on the moon. Where is it? Mystery moon video. There was like a whole list of them. Oh my god! And it looks like there were videos just taken what looks like lunar scenes. And I can't bloody find it. And you see like a lunar landscape ahead of you and things like that, and thinking, oh, what's that? And then there's nothing much actually happens. You just see this camera, it moves slightly, it trains around slightly. It's pretty poor quality video footage. And suddenly this hand comes in front of the video. Oh, bloody, I wish I could find it. Oh, it was Slapped Ham did a thing about it, I think. Was it Slapped Ham? Hang on, let's have a look. I think it was Slapped Ham. Slapped Ham is good, actually. Slapped Ham does like paranormal. It's rather like The Darkest Secret. He does like... let me just see if I can find it. Hang on. Is it him? Moon. Was it The Darkest Secret? Because they're both very similar. The Darkest Secret and Slapped Ham. They published videos of. Here we go. Now I'm going to make one more effort to find it here. Yes, here it is. The most creepy moon live stream. Here we go. Oh, sorry, it's an ad here. It's on the Darkest Secret YouTube channel. It's called The Most Creepy Live Stream on YouTube. That's what it's called. And it's basically literally a weird kind of, looks like some moon footage. It's almost like Apollo footage, but it's actually not. Yet it seems to come from the moon. Yeah. There we go.
Interesting part, because there's some history that suggests surprising. It's only a 3D simulation.
It's very, very odd. It's very weird.
Over and over again.
It's very, very odd. I do recommend checking that out. There's no explanation for this. Charles says, has made that comment about interstellar technology. Yeah, and as I said, there's no contradiction there. Diego Rivera says to Charles, come on, you don't really believe the Masonic moon hoax. I thought you were a critical thinker. Charles says to Diego Rivera, what do Masons have to do with it? Charles, all astronauts were Freemasons, also Apollo and the sun god, the Artemis moon goddess. Yeah, not all the astronauts were Freemasons. Yeah, it's interesting the use of classical mythology in the names, Artemis, Apollo, yeah. Charles says, and in the 1960s, who wasn't a Freemason? Medieval iconography was developed because the vast majority of the population were completely illiterate. It was nothing to do with conspiracies or that rubbish. Indeed, I mean, some of it is beautiful. You see it in churches today. Diego Rivera says there was a Masonic moon medal made and pictures of astronauts holding a Masonic flag. Well, the picture of the astronaut holding a Masonic flag was fake. That was Buzz Aldrin. That was fake. However, there is a Masonic moon medal, and some Freemasonic lodges actually have them. Because if Buzz Aldrin or one of the others visits, they will do they'll bring one out. Yeah. Charles says to Diego, but you just said it was a hoax and there was no ritual, no astronauts, no flag on the moon. The Soviets also went to the moon, so were they all Masons? Well, the Soviets launched a very sophisticated craft to the moon. These are unmanned craft, but they were very sophisticated, yeah. Diego Rivera says the Soviet Union had a history of Freemasonry. They never claimed they landed men on the moon. If you were a true critical thinker, you would question the extraordinary claims of the Apollo moon landings. None of the evidence they present stands up to scrutiny. It was also a time primitive computers combined with a low amount of space satellites. That's right. I don't know what I think the Soviet Union banned Freemasonry. I think they banned everything. But there was like an undercurrent below that of secrecy. Charles says to Diego Rivera, right, so there are two nations intent on kicking the ever-living shit out of each other, yet are part of this vast collective, unified, highly organised Masonic conspiracy. Make your mind up. Well, again, Charles, there's no contradiction here. I wouldn't include the word Masonic. Most Freemasons are just innocent. Yes, but on one level, there are two nations that were loggerheads on the Cold War. Yet at another level, they were part of a collective, unified, highly organised conspiracy. I mean, just look at what's it called, The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Read the books. Read National Suicide by Anthony Sutton. Pages and pages of proof that the Cold War basically was a sham. Checkpoint says it could happen any time. Checkpoint says Simon Parkes was selling £3 USB sticks to gullible people for £350. It was a scam, yet he wasn't thrown in jail. Ben thinks all bad people go to prison, and someone not arrested or incarcerated must be innocent. This is, of course, rubbish. Well, did you call the police checkpoint? Who did? And if you didn't, am I supposed to take your word for it? Do I think all bad people go to prison? Well, no, of course. You've got to be very senior and you have to have a lot of political power to be a bad person and not go to prison. You can be a good person and go to prison very easily, so yeah. I mean, when did anyone call the police? Why did no one call the police to me? Why did no one call the police to... You keep asking these questions and no one answers. Charles says, yep, he also went on blaming his abusive behaviour on his father's ghost or something like that. See mumbling, Parks is a steaming pile wrapped in a skin bag. Do you know what, Checkpoint? Did you watch that live stream? I won't say which channel it's on. It was actually mirrored to somebody else's channel as well. Well, basically, you just got a bunch of people sitting around slagging off Simon. As I said, I actually bring this up in the video. There's absolutely no way I'm going to condemn this guy without hearing his side of the story. No way at all. He will tell his side of the story his way, and if he can defend himself, I think he does deserve the chance to defend himself in any way he sees fit. Do you dispute that? Do any of you dispute that he has the right at least to a defence case? Charles says to Steve, you just made my day. It's been postulated in high academia that the counterpart of Jonesian high-octane buffoonery and diamond pulverizing mumbling-esque logical rebuttals coming together by accident in so mind-paralyzingly unlikely that some consider it proof positive of creative design. Oh, God. That's so funny. That's a good one there, Charles. It really has to be, doesn't it? I mean, these sort of love-hate relationships simply do not happen accidentally. The lights were low. Hello. All right. This is on Rendlesham Forest 2014. Oh, it's an old one. It's an old one, but a good one. I enjoyed making this, actually. I had a great time at Rendlesham Forest in 2014. There was the Dr. Jonathan Reed event, and then this. Yeah, the tour that Derek gave us, yeah. The Lights Below says, hi, Ben. Derek's Monks, Giants, etc. on the full night of a... Excuse me. I've got a cough. Seem to be pushing things a little bit. They seem to be pushing things, all right. I would have thought if they were as frightened and desperate to get out as they describe, or as anyone would be, then stopping to have a cigarette prior to getting the feck out of there seems bizarre. Has more been written on this incident? I'm sure surprised someone hasn't wanted to properly investigate, as it seems as intriguing as the 1980 sightings itself. In fact, 3 witnesses and all that going on. What's your thoughts after this period of time, Ben? No, I don't smoke, so I don't understand how this feels, but I know that I've seen people like literally being confronted by the paedophile hunters and people like that having a cigarette. I've seen people like arrested, but getting out a cigarette, but they're hanging on the edge of a cliff or something. I mean, it seems to be an imperative for people who smoke that they have to do it. I mean, I know how addictive it is, and people have described how difficult it is to stop smoking. It is almost intriguing as the 1980 sighting. I mean, it lacks the physical evidence of the 1980 sighting and the officialdom that actually backed it up. There was actually a what was they called? There was one group that did investigate. What are they called? Hang on. Where is it? Hang on. Project Oric, ORIC. I don't know if they're still actually going on. This was back in 2017, but this was Joe Game and Lily Marshall. The Lily Marshall these are 2 psychical investigators. They were actually working on EVP. They were trying to recreate the conditions of the skull experiment, but they did investigate Derek's experience. I can't remember exactly what they said. And Lights Below said on the same video, just an addendum, even you and Colin look like, yeah, we've got tinfoil hats on, but pull the other one. I obviously, like this, when Derek related this story and the other witnesses, I did sort of go, I can't help like wondering. At the same time, you know, Derek is somebody I have got to know well. He has a reputation for being honest and straight. I know that these things do occur. I've seen the photographs that were taken by his team in the woods. He, Brenda Butler, and the others go into the woods. They take photographs, and often strange things appear on the film. I mean, unless I'd have to go with them. I think maybe I'd have to go with them and then know for sure. But I sort of just I don't disbelieve, but at the same time I don't just accept. Right, we have HPANWO yogurt. Yummy. Yes. The respected Lex said, "Lick the lid of life." That's a good advertising slogan, isn't it, for a yogurt company? Lick the lid of life. Remember that mindlessly crappy advert about 14 years ago? Oh, has it already been used? Lick the lid of life. Oh, I think I do. Yes, I do. It was not Lion's Made. What is what was it? Onken or somebody like that. Yeah. Oh, we have this. Oh, this is interesting. This is it's back in. I think it's 2012. This is my first ever live show. Actually, it was the London David Icke discussion group, the second part. And the respected Lex says, "It seems ironic that way back then you had a rainbow on your T-shirt." All right, that's not a woke rainbow. That is actually what's the word? It's actually part of a design that was made by an artist called Karen Sawyer, and she produced a line of T-shirts, of which I had one. The respected Lex again. The respected Lex is going through all my old videos, which is nice. This is the Boudica statue, part 1 of 2. That's my HPANWO London Truth Tours, part 6. And respected Lex says, "Aren't we all a bit Roman or Holy Roman then, whatever you want to call it? MPs generally seem to be from a range of economic and cultural backgrounds. What gets me about that statue is it's a form of very early feminism, way before feminism." I think Victoria was trying to claim her. Yes, during the 19th century there was an attempt to mythologize Boudica. It actually can be seen in the form of Britannia, this female goddess-like form, which I don't know if you've seen it before. I'll just try and show you if I can find it. Britannia, of course, was the Roman name. See a figure. This particular figure here. Oh, hang on. I don't know if I'm not going to show you all these, but there's various figures of a warrior woman with a helmet, a spear, a shield with a Union flag on, in various forms, usually carrying a trident or a sword. Sometimes she's in armor, sometimes in a red tunic. That was essentially that image essentially came from Boudica, from the descriptions of Boudica. And indeed, Victoria, I think Queen Victoria, there was an attempt, in fact, in the documentary about Boudica, with what's his name, Tony Robinson. He describes how there was an attempt to mythologize Boudica and link her with the identity of Queen Victoria. And the word Boudica actually it comes from an old Celtic word, Bwdeg, which means victory, and you find it in modern Celtic languages, like in Welsh it's Byddug. Byddug is what we like to say whenever Wales plays England at rugby. And of course, victory is the name Victoria, which has Latin roots, but it means essentially the same thing. It may even be linked, actually, if you look at the etymology of the words. You get BV and Bud and then DT. So essentially, it's like the V and B are linked. You get Welsh. In Welsh, actually has this within the language. That is the mutation system. So it could be that victory and Bwdeg is actually connected via Italo-Celtic roots in prehistoric times, because the Romance and Celtic languages are linked probably by a common ancestor from around sometime in the late 2nd millennium BC. All right. Anyway, Lex, I'm glad you are enjoying my old videos. I really am. Oh, this is a more recent one here. Respected Lex says, on argument with a homeless person, a lot of homeless people seem to be have narcissistic personality disorder types. I've lived and worked with them myself. Also, many who work for charities are the same. Unfortunately, yes, this is my point. This all came out of an argument I had with a homeless person because I refused to give them money or goods. I was polite. I mean, I didn't walk past them as you know, Nathan Soria was saying on Lisa's show. You know, you don't just walk past them with your nose in the air. That dehumanises them. I said, okay, I won't. So they said, "You want some? Could I have some cash or something?" I said, "I'm sorry, I don't donate cash on the street. I support a homeless charity, but I don't donate cash to individuals on the street." It's the end of the second hour. And he just got arsey about it. You try living on the streets, man. And I got the feeling this bloke was like... I got the feeling he was relishing his own sense of victimhood. In the same way that the feminists do. He was essentially saying, look at me, I'm so oppressed. And, oh, isn't it wonderful? I'm wearing this on my shoulder, man, because it makes me so superior to everyone else. And so that's what inspired me to make that video. Anyway, Lex, hope you'll be watching more of my videos. I'm going to take a little break now.